like even though British soldiers weren't deployed in Afghanistan for an eternity by now, they still decided, oh no, this is serious enough to get all the MPs together in Parliament to talk about it. There, the consensus was to be very, very angry because Western imperial ambitions had been curtailed, I guess. What a shock, I know. And they held Joe Biden to be in contempt of Parliament, which is something interesting and kind of a bit extreme. It's especially an extreme thing because there was one quite notable absent in all of that. Dominic Raab, the literal foreign secretary, didn't return to Parliament for the emergency discussion on a foreign policy problem. He instead decided that his holiday in Cyprus was so much more important than going to Parliament. Besides, he insisted he could do all the work that he was going to do from the beach anyway. Just today, in fact, he said, was it on Wednesday? I was on the phone and I was calling the sort of the foreign leaders of Azerbaijan, but I'm still calling foreign leaders from the beach and doing diplomacy from here. So yeah, I'm going to be completely the best foreign secretary ever. Oh, by the way, I'm also one of the people who's been publicly skeptical of the ability of anyone else to be able to do their work from home during the pandemic. But shush. Do not bring that up. That would be really, really politically inconvenient. So speaking of politically inconvenient, what about the rest of Europe? Europe's had some very mixed reactions to this. Some countries, like Germany in particular, have been kind of opening an idea of we should probably help the sort of people who are being, persecuted and are trying to run away now from the insane fascist Islamist terror group that's taken over. We should maybe do something about that. Others, like President Macron of France, took a more, you see, I really should care, but I actually have a big far right thing going on here, and I want to kind of appease those voters, and there's nothing quite like a big hard bash shot against the very idea that any immigrants from anywhere, no matter the circumstances, should ever come into the country. So, the humanity. The humanity. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, a lot of the reaction was a bit more, oh my God, there's a country collapsing here. Israel condemned Joe Biden, unsurprising, as did, I think, Saudi Arabia. Iran was basically kind of no, we've got the drugs are all going to be pouring in more now, and also now we have a Sunni religious zealot country next to us instead of an American puppet, which we were kind of half okay, not really okay, but we were kind of half fine with. But now we've got a crazy militia of Sunni radicals who are just killing Shias all over the place. This is not okay. We need to do something about this. Pakistan, seems to be basically the only country that was kind of positive on it, or at least found a positive way. Just yesterday, there was a story where there was some lorries that were carrying timber from Afghanistan, and they were driving it into Pakistan, which was illegal under Afghan law. But then again, the whole big story is that Afghanistan is kind of under new management. So I guess maybe those laws don't apply anymore. Uh, which then leaves us only to one kind of like power whose reaction I'm going to discuss. And that was the United States. The United States has been panicking basically about this whole thing. The media has been obsessing over the over this story, like I am. So I guess I'm guilty of this as well. Talking about the plight of all of these people who are trying to run away now from the insane new government. Uh, there was a huge amount of condemnation of Joe Biden crossing the aisles. Pretty bipartisan. Uh, he had like a one or two like the really lefty Congress people praising him, but like most of them were just like, "Oh, this is bad, this is bad." Uh, all this, even like the generals and like the civil service people, were all going like, "Oh, this is not right." Joe Biden's he's a crazy man. He's doing the wrong thing, whatever. But I have really gained a lot of admiration for Joe Biden in all of this because he is standing his ground. He not only doubled down when he was kind of questioned on it, he then made a sort of like a big speech to the nation where he tripled down on that being the right decision. It was really amazing to see, actually. He sat there at one point and said, like, yeah, when the, like, at one point he said, like, I am the fifth president to, like, inherit this war. No, the fourth, no, it's like, I am the fourth president, sorry, to inherit this war. I don't want a fifth one. It's like, damn, that's pretty cool, actually. He sat there, like, yeah, I opposed the troop surge in 2009 when I was vice president because I could see that we were not doing anything. We were going to be all kinds of terrible, and that this government was just a sham. It wasn't going to hold. We're fighting like a forever war. He said that we weren't originally there for nation building, yet 10 years later, we accomplished all of our missions, and then it was suddenly nation building, which we weren't equipped for. So if I might be the only lone voice in the void of the internet to be saying this, then I will say it. Kudos to Joe Biden. The man saw that the United States was in a really tough situation. It was occupying a country, propping up what was basically a fake government that no one in the country actually believed in, apparently, from the looks of it. Meanwhile, they were just fighting away this militia in the mountains, which couldn't go away, never did, was having a constant supply of new people. The United States was dropping over 7,000, was dropping over 7,000 bombs a year on the country. This was in 2019. In 2017, 2017, mind you, 4 years ago, continuous occupation throughout, and the Taliban already at that time was controlling, what was it, like 10% of the country? Like you look at like the map of like the zones of control, and like the Taliban have control in like some pretty noteworthy, like, oh, that's a couple of speckles here and there. And there's even more speckles that like those are contested. So it's a fraud. It's a sham to just kind of sit and go, oh, what a terrible kind of move. Like we should have kept the occupation going. That's the honest view, by the way. Going like, oh, the troops should have been there forever. Congratulations, you have an unpopular opinion and also support essentially killing your own US soldiers and wasting millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on bombs that do nothing good. The less honest ones, and the ones I've been really kind of getting frustrated with, are people who go like, oh, but, the way we did it wasn't right. The timetables of our withdrawal wasn't good. But Joe Biden again actually addressed this and said like, okay, what would one extra year have done? It would have, in fact, meant more violence because the Taliban, because like Donald Trump signed this deal to like withdraw from Afghanistan, which was a good idea, by the way. Uh, and the Taliban said that if they, if the Americans didn't withdraw in that timetable, it would have been a breach of the agreement, and they'd have unleashed more violence. Okay, and then America's stuck there for even longer. Kind of based, to use what the kids are saying. Kind of based. There's been a whole lot of sort of stories on this. There's one kind of thing to add to this. Priti Patel, of all people, has said that the UK is going to take in 20,000 sort of Afghan refugees fleeing this horror and conflict. So far, one of the highest of any country. Again, kudos, and very unexpected as well. But apart from that, my heart, it goes out to Afghanistan. I really hope that everyone who wants to leave, who's got fears for their lives, I hope they get out. I wish the resistance well. I hope that Ahmad Massoud, is able to like take the fight to the Taliban and restore something that looks like sanity to the nation. But boy, am I also glad that we're out. It was a quagmire. It was not worth it. And the government we were propping up collapsed within days. Good thing, good riddance. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments of the live stream. I always make a point of checking them out. This has been a double bill of, this topic, which is not very normal, but hey, I have done it. But in the meantime, I think some other people need to have a chat. Yeah, pretty good other people. Very intelligent. Said a man who looked like he could join the Taliban. Catch you all again very, very soon.